ship. Callie frowned. He might as well have told her it was a Viking longboat or an Apollo module. From the bad old days, before we had bridge generators?
A genuine old-timey antique. It's got to be about 500 years old.
Ashok gave himself a little spin, changing his orientation so she was looking at his feet, because actually being still for any length of time was outside his considerable skill set. A Goldilocks ship? Wow, weren't they propelled by atomic bombs?
Pretty much, yeah, at least the first wave, and this one was one of the earlier models launched. Looks like it's had some modifications since then, though. The Goldilocks ships were no frills. They didn't go in for decorative S&M spikes.
Maybe a pirate crew found it and tried to make it look more badass.
That ship is old, Cap. No pirate would want it for anything other than scrap or to sell to a collector.
So what's it doing here? Goldilocks ships aren't supposed to come back. That's the whole point. They took one-way journeys, way out, trips of desperation and exploration. Now, 500 years later, it's just floating in trans-Neptunian space. By cosmic terms, it's practically back where it started. Ashok nodded.
That's the big juicy mystery. No way that ship came back from anywhere, right? It's not like they had Tantor drives back then. They weren't zipping across the galaxy. Unless they found a bunch of plutonium lying around on their colony planet and built more bombs to stick up the ship's butt, there was no coming back.
No mystery at all then, Ashok. This is just as far as they got. The crew took off on their brave voyage, reached the edge of our solar system, suffered some critical failure, and that's it. Nobody ever expected to hear from the Goldilocks ships again, so no one went looking.
You think that ship spent the past 500 years drifting among the ice balls out here and nobody noticed? With all the surveys and mining vessels tagging everything, even halfway interesting?
Callie shrugged. You said it yourself. Space is big. The ship was just overlooked. What's the alternative? The idea of this enigmatic ship breaking down centuries ago was comforting, in a way, because failure was common, plausible, and non-threatening, unlike most of the other possible explanations. Ashok wasn't having it.
I don't know what the alternative is, but there's something else going on here. Who made all those modifications? Space vandals drifting by with buckets of epoxy and loads of sheet metal? Outsider artists among the asteroids?
Seems unlikely.
And what about the energy readings? Parts of the ship are still warm.
I know. They were made to run for a long time, the Goldilocks ships. Some of them are still completing their journeys. Could just be some old systems ticking along in the midst of critical failures.
Nah, these readings are weird, Cap. The whole thing is weird.
Ashok sounded quite chipper about it, as he did about most things.
It's a mystery. Mysteries are great. Let's peel it open and see if it's wrapped around an enigma.
I hate mysteries, Callie said, not entirely accurately. You always think it's going to be a box full of gold, but usually it's a box full of spiders. Ashok made a noise that might have been a snort in a baseline human.
And yet you always end up opening the lid, don't you?
What can I say? Callie unhooked her feet and pushed off toward the doorway, leading deeper into the ship. I like gold more than I hate spiders.
Launching magnetic tethers.
The voice in Callie's headset had the clipped tones of someone who'd grown up under Europa's domes, which meant it was the navigator Janus, and not the pilot Drake. He was from one of the greater Toronto arcologies, populated mostly by the children of Caribbean immigrants, and his accent was a lot more melodious to the captain's ear. Watching from the window in the airlock, her angle was wrong to see the metal tethers bursting from the side of the White Raven, but seconds later, Janus said, "Contact. Connection secure." Janus didn't have a particle of romance in her soul, which was a good quality in the person who was supposed to tell you where you were going and where you'd been. As soon as the airlock unsealed and yawned open, Ashok launched himself out, snapping a carabiner onto one of the steel lines that now attached the White Raven to the dark wreck a scant 1,000 meters away. He would have spacewalked without any safety gear at all if Callie had allowed it. He liked spinning to and fro in the void, with nothing but puffs of compressed air to get him back home. But Callie insisted on a mod.